Welcome to Workout Wednesday 2023 week 16 for Power BI. This week we are using some new functionality from the March and April releases of Power BI Desktop. The biggest new thing is dynamic format strings for measures, which previously required calculation groups usually made in Tabular Editor, but now we can do this just in Power BI Desktop. And we also have subtitles to be able to have them underneath titles in our visuals. So what we are making is a report for a top-in products where you can switch the metric. So I chose 3 products and we see our list of products change to 3. I can choose gross margin and we see we have thousands separators, gross margin percent, and it's now formatted as percentages. Same thing across all the other visuals. Percentages there too. And now no percentages, just integer numbers. Instead of getting source data ourselves, we are starting from the customer profitability sample. You can download that from the Microsoft Docs. The link is in the Workout Wednesday post. When you arrive, it'll look like this. I just created a blank page, deleted all these. And now I can get started. So there's no Power Query work for this week, but there is a bit of DAX work and some visualization work. The first thing I'm going to do is add a calculated table for the metric that has to be chosen. And I chose specific metrics, 5 of them, and so I put them in order and gave them an ordinal column starting with 0. Since it's just static data, I just did a data table and we have our metric. Then I'm going to do a new parameter, and it's going to be a numeric range for number of products, and it's going to go 1 to 5. And I went ahead and let it add the slicer to the page, which I'll format later. That's fine. So now we have the column and the measure automatically added. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a new measure that I called measure switcher. So I'm getting whatever value is selected from the metrics and then relating that to the actual measure. We're doing this so that we can do the dynamic measure formatting strings, since these are each different, and I don't want to repeat this logic. once I combine it with the number of products chosen. So I've got my measure switcher measure. So I'm going to make another measure that I call value. So given the number of products selected from the slicer, I'm going to calculate a top-in metric based on that measure switcher measure that I just created. So I'm doing top-in, where in is the number of products. For the products, with the filter of the measure switcher, return top metric. I'm going to go ahead and prepare some slicers here. I'm going to make this a single select, and I'll make it say select top products. And I'll just put it about there for now. Then I want to make another slicer and have that be the metric. And I formatted that similarly beneath. I know I'm going to have some explanatory text, and I'll go ahead and fix my theme. And I switched to this monochromatic theme, but I rearranged a couple colors to have better color contrast. And then I made all of my fonts consistent. And we'll finish formatting those later. Then I'm going to need a text box for my title at the top. I'm going to say top. Number of products. It's going to be whole number. So top 5 products. selected metric, number of customers. So there's that. I'll go ahead and throw my other text box over. Make all of that a bit bigger. And then we need to start building our visuals. So I would like a table that shows product and value. And my formatting is going to be wrong right now because we haven't set that part. But I'm just going to get the visuals on the page. And we'll see that indeed my top product slicer is working. And then I will make a line chart. And my x-axis, there's already a hierarchy, so I'm going to use that. The y-axis will be value. And then I'm going to expand it down to get down to the month level. And I'll leave that there for a second and come back and format later. I also need a bar chart. And that's going to be, the y-axis is industry and the x-axis is value. And then I would like a map. Do state. And bubble size will be related to value. So now that we have basic visuals populated, let's go back to value and let's fix our formatting. Right now it's set on general. So I'm changing that to dynamic. And now this is set to format. And I can put a DAX expression there. So there's no equal sign at the beginning, you just start right in. So I'm basically saying whatever was chosen out of the metrics, if it's number of customers, format it as an integer. If it's gross margin percent, do a percentage with 2 places after the decimal. Otherwise, it's an integer with a thousands separator. So now my value shows an integer. But if I change it to gross margin percent, we see percentage. If I change it to cost of goods sold, we see an integer with a thousands separator. So this is what we want. So now we can start formatting our visuals, and we have to make a few more DAX expressions to make that work. So first up is title for the table. We're going to enable that. And I'm just saying, give me the metric, give me the number of products. It has a string so that I can say metric for top N products. The line chart is similar. Give me metric, give me products as a string. Selected metric for top N products over time. Because we don't want all of our visuals to have the same title. We're trying to give more descriptive information. So we do the same variables, and then we say selected metric by industry for top N products. And I could have pulled out selected metric and number of products, number of products as a measure. I could have pulled out selected metric separately, but this works just fine for me. And then I have one more for my map. And that gives me selected metric by state for top N products. I'm going to go ahead and add my background image. And fix the background in my theme, which I forgot to do earlier. So that I can just go through and format each thing once. Fix the header on that so it says select. Select these three and align left. That one down a bit. I will distribute vertically so that they're somewhat evenly spaced. So first up is our table. I'm going to go to title and turn it on and use an expression. Do title table. Get that nice and lined up. I didn't add shadows or anything, but you are welcome to. We took care of the title, and here's the new subtitle. So I just typed in there the relevant date range so that you don't have to look in any other visual to find that out. And that should be good for that one. So if I go to my line chart. I'll probably scoot it over a little bit, and let's do get that all aligned, and then we'll take care of the title. And we'll turn on our subtitle. And get that in there. Oh, one thing I forgot to do here. I don't think having the word value on the y-axis is helpful at all, so I need to turn that off. I do kind of like having month there because if we were to drill up, it would change. So I'll do the same things here. We got, let's do that and make it 360. Oh, a little more. There we go. And we'll get that aligned. Take the title off the x-axis. Leave it on the y. Change our title to be dynamically populated. Turn on our subtitle. And then we can do the map. For our map, we'll make that the same height. We're getting it right aligned with the end of the line chart and top aligned with the bar chart. Fix our title. Turn on our subtitles. Get that in there. And let's test it out. One product number of customers is formatted as an integer. Let's switch to 3, still formatted as an integer. Gross margin is formatted as an integer with 1,000 separators. So goods sold, 1,000 separators. Gross margin percent is a percent with 2 places after the decimal. We see that happening everywhere. Revenue is an integer with 1,000 separators. So that is this week's challenge with the dynamic format strings for measures.